So I said to myself, you know what? You've been behaving as a Christian, as a child of God, as a prophetess all these years. Just let loose and live for a chance, for a change. Please mind, note, I'm not saying it's right. It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
However, I'm just sharing so that the saints can understand how we got to where I'm going. So I was like, no, let me just live and enjoy. I was living in purity, being celibate before marriage, but look what the marriage turned out to be, you know. Those negativity, and the enemy maximizes on that. The more we dwell on those thoughts, the more he maximizes on that. So I then started dating. Met this person who says, I've been eyeing you since high school, blah, blah, blah. He goes to church. But you can see by the fruits that something is not right. Yeah. And then I went to pray about it. When I had a dream where I was telling my sister, I have someone now. And then in the dream, the voice came and said, look closely at this thing. It's not a person. It's a thing. So when I looked closely after the voice told me to look closely, it was a figure of a scary-looking thing with 6 feet, 6 hands, with his face. But it was 6 feet, 6, you know? It was a scary-looking thing. And I woke up, and I knew right there that this was not right. But guess what? Because now for the first time, I have somebody who looks at me and say, I love you. For the first time, I feel...
You want to leave also? That thinking. And you have it at the back of your... You want to leave.
Yes, and for the first time, I have somebody who can hug me, kiss me all over.
You know, you just reminded me, when you said that, Rory-san came to my mind.
Okay.
Because Rory-san is...
The Rory-san.
Yeah, the one who was on Black Conversations.
Okay.
She said in an interview with Mpumi, marriage is not the goal, you know, and so celibacy, it's not the goal. So if we do these things to say, okay, I'm doing this for this, we end up with the wrong reward. Yes. And so then you come to that conclusion to say, hey man, let me leave.
Yeah.
It creates that.
Later on, you're going to feel drained because you're not doing it for the right reasons in the first place.
Yeah. It just brought that thing in.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned that. It's very important. So that's where I was at that point.
You've seen the dream. It's clear.
It's clear. This is a thing. It's not a person. I went in, dated the guy for about 3 months. 3 months was hell. It was toxic like no other business. Like the guy would literally change women like I don't know what. But he goes to church.
When you are there?
Yes. And it would be like, no, don't worry about that. That person is, no. But it was a lot of women. A lot of women.
In 3 months?
In 3 months. It was just...
You're not normal. Let's just be honest. How are you sharing more than...
Yeah. And I later then came to my senses to say, okay, break this. I broke the relationship. I moved to a different city, went and pursued my radio career. In that time of doing my radio show, it was the best radio show ever. So with that, it brought a lot of attention, including from the other side, people from the other side as well. So
underworld.
Yes, because the show was doing so well. Now everybody wanted to know, who is this girl?
Was shining now. So
yes,
this
my star is shining so bright, you know, because I had made a vow to God that, okay, I'm going to pursue my career and focus on that and not do these things that I was doing. Not leave. So that's what I did. In that time, I had this other guy who said to me, he's well known, he's well connected in the industry. He said, you know what, I want to make you this powerful person. I want to make you... He wanted a relationship with me, but then he would say comments like that I want to make you a powerful person. So I also later discovered that he's actually into Sangoma. I don't know if I should say Sangoma or what. Yeah. But nowadays they don't really... Some of them don't even put the beat, hey?
They just suit up and everything.
Yes.
You will not
it's only when you get closer... Then you realize, okay, they've got an altar there where they put 1, 2, 3. Oh,
they're cleaner now. They have candles.
Yes. Yes. So it was that
the
kind of situation.
The doctrine is the only thing that you will hear.
Yeah. So I was almost in. Because in him, with him.
Okay.
I don't know what's the English word. I almost fell into that trap. Reason being, it made sense only later that I was actually being introduced to Ubungoma. Actually, had I said yes to him,
the old calling of
West
your
Part
childhood.
have I slept with him? Had I slept with him, I would have been those people who says I was a prophetess in the church. Now, I'm doing this.
Oh,
It was
so some
a trap.
people are opening those doors.
Yes, that's what's happening. Yeah, and that's why I say, had I slept with him, I believe I wouldn't have come back. Honestly, because there are people in the kingdom of darkness that hold a certain rank. When you forget, you understand?
Especially with those things, knowing very well all these things.
You know. So I was almost in because I would get home after a show and light candles and be like, hey, I've been the truth is, because whatever they say, it goes into your mind and you end up meditating on it. So I would go home because he had made it clear that I don't believe in Jesus. I don't believe that Jesus died for me. He had made it clear. So I would go to my room after the show, light candles and say, okay, God, I don't know now. If the ancestors listening to me, or if Jesus is listening to me, whoever's listening to me, let them show themselves. You know,
with all the proof you had.
With all the proof I had.
With all the
proof, the foundation of the word that I had.
You still had to fight through. I
was at this point where, because the enemy maximizes on us opening the door. It's through us that he's able to enter. It's not that he's got power. You understand? It's us opening that door and saying, come in. So me going down there with those candles and saying, come, if you are ancestors listening to me, if you are this, talk to me. You know? So
if there's anything that the Dracula movies have taught us. You remember the Dracula movies when we were kids? They used to say this thing, Dracula cannot come in except you invite him in. So
exactly like that.
You are opening all these doors.
I remember one day, there was this one trending, because I felt like my life is stagnant. Yes, I'm doing maybe what I love, but it's not profitable. I started, the enemy.
You feed on other people's success.
I started meditating on the fact that my life is stagnant. Look what I've been through with this, still believing in Jesus. Maybe I should give this side a chance.
Start considering.
That's how I feel. Yes.
Knowing the word, with foundation. Delivered. You came out. You wanted to go back.
I wanted to go back. In that point, I remember one time there was this one trending of breaking an egg into milk.
It was trending online.
There was a lady who saying, no, to wash away.
I remember the chabu Gigi Lamini, Bari, if you burn what, all those things.
There was one trending about milk.
Nothing to do with Gigi Lamine, by the way. It's just something that she mentioned, then you trended.
There was water and milk, and then you must break the egg. I don't know if you put the egg as it is or you break it. I did that.
So you saw a trend on TikTok?
I had seen it long time ago. But now remember, I made this.
You were at the phase where you are testing. At the phase where
I'm like, no, man, why not? You understand? Because when you open TV, you see them. It's trending. It's a trending thing. That's how the enemy operates. Maximizes on that to put everybody on public figures in the forefront as ambassadors to promote, to influence this. To the point where you're like, you look at your life, you look at their life, you're like, I want to be where they are. Maybe this is the way. You understand? So what
was it supposed to do? The breaking the egg and...
It was supposed to wash away the bad luck and everything.
But even though your life is doing good,
let me tell you, because usually after the show I would go straight home to pray. It was in the early hours of the morning, so it was my prayer time. My Bible was just right there next to the headboard. My headboard is not skew; it's flat.
Yeah.
The Bible was sitting there. I broke that egg, put that water. I'm like, God, I'm going in. I want to see. I want to wash away this bad luck from my family or from wherever or from that I came with.
Let me guess,
from the marriage.
Your Bible fell off.
It fell off. It was as if it was as if something came and pushed it away.
And said, where are you going?
It fell off I was so shook. I didn't even finish the whole thing that I was supposed to do. I was shook because I'm like, Haibo, what just happened?
You are having a literal encounter now. If you are denying everything, you are denying
You're denying, yes.
And when you say,
yeah, it means you are saying,
let me show you how far I'll go to remind you where your authority is.
I was shook. Okay, fast forward. During that time, I realized that, okay, all of a sudden now, every guy that comes is that side.
Oh, you are now being approached by dark people.
By them, yes, specifically. You understand? And they're all making promises that you're so talented, but we want to
elevate.
Give you that. So what changed my mind was that encounter with the Bible falling and everything. And the words that he had said that, no, I want to make you a powerful person. Because I remembered that my God has already given me power. You understand? According to Luke chapter 10, verse 19. So which power is this now that this guy is talking about? So somehow it made me come back to my senses to say, no. It means I will be denying God. And it means I'll now be a devil worshipper. That's how
the elevation, even though God is going to elevate you at his time,
yes,
you are now taking
shortcuts
to elevation.
To elevation. You understand? So that's sort of how I slowly came back to my senses to say, nah, this is not worth it. And I increased on prayer because I'm like, oh, Kunje, the enemy has always wanted what I carry. You understand?
You got rid of the candles and all these things.
I got rid of all that and I started praying according to the word, praying and like really seeking God. And let me tell you what that did. It brought me elevation in the realm of the spirit. To the point where I noticed that I'm now operating in the supernatural. I don't know how to explain it. But
you just popular terms, yeah.
Yeah, but I could wake up and say, God, I need 1, 2, 3. Before I know it, somebody calls me and say, okay, I have a job for you. MC, this much. When I check the amount, is what exactly I had asked. Or maybe I would have a dream where my daughter is under attack. When I show up, those people will bow or they will run. They will burn. Yeah, I realized that saying no to these specific guys, it brought some form of power in the realm of the spirit, some form of elevation.
The same way Jesus gets Satan coming into the garden. Is it in the garden?
In the wilderness.
Hey.
You mean after?
Passion of the Christ. Yeah. And then angels came and ministered to him. And so by denying the ministration of the enemy, it brought thingy. And so it goes with exactly with what you're saying, is that when you deny this plate that they are giving you, when you deny their table, God shows you his table.
God shows up. He's a faithful God. So
by the way, for people that might pray, just a little heads up.
Okay.
They might pray and not have an answer thingy. Or they might not have a vision of the answer or something like that. But they will have an answer. So sometimes people tend to want to mimic, they want their life to reflect what another person.
Same way
but it's just different. God answers you differently.
There's been years where I pray, nothing happens.
Yeah.
There's been years where I ask, nothing happens. But during that time, I realized it brought some form of
aligned with your gift also. That's another thing. People don't understand. They will hear you say that. Okay, now until I see and so until I see an answer. No, but you don't realize it doesn't even go with your gift. It doesn't even go with things. You are asking for something outside of God's will for thinking.
Yeah.
And so
that's what happened. Where was I?
You were at the point where there was now elevation by denying all these Satanists.
Yes, but then the enemy does not give up. Never. He will never give up. He will keep on coming. So I believe that when he realized that doesn't work, he said, okay, I'm going to bring somebody that speaks his language, maybe, and praise.
Quotation mark.
Yes, speaks in tongues, prophesies, preaches, And then he went for that. I believe with all my heart that was the plan. That, okay, these ones that say we don't believe in Jesus, she's quick to say no. Why not bring somebody that,
that prays as well.
Yeah.
That does exactly what she likes. And so he's going to feed you now He's going to feed you the exactly what looks like. Counterfeit.
What looks like.
Yeah.
What looks like is from God.
So it's important to know what truth looks like.
Yes.
So that you can identify when you have the wrong.
Yes. Okay, fine. So I'm just going to skip a few things, but straight to this one. That, okay, during that time, because I was doing a show, I wasn't, remember the last time I dated was during that one. That looked like a thing. Yeah. So it had been a while now, like almost, I think, over a year, actually. Over a year since. So it was now at the time where, remember my show was doing well.
It was doing well.
So I got an inbox from this other guy. He says, hello, my DJ. So I thought that it's one of the listeners. So I responded, hello, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Started talking. The guy's funny. Okay, makes jokes. The enemy knows that I love a funny guy. So, yeah, the guy was funny. Got my attention very easily so. You understand? So we started chatting, getting to know each other online via Facebook inbox, right? Okay, fine. But in my mind, I'm like, I don't really want to date. Yeah, I'm just going to mind my business. But yeah, he's a nice guy. Makes me laugh. Why not talk? Why not when he sends a text and respond? So
You're still in the phase of, I want to leave.
No. The phase of I want to leave, I left it that time when I broke up with that one.
Oh,
that
okay.
like
it showed you the dangers of wanting to leave. But now you... But
remember, there were still temptations there where I almost...
It's always going to be,
Yes, went on the other side. So fine, we spoke for over a year with the guy online. Over a year. That's how patient... Because they...
Definitely.
I want to say something about these guys. Can I say the occultic prophets?
Kingdom.
Yes. The men who are occultic, they don't give up because they know what they want from you. Even ladies.
This one was a pastor.
A prophet.
Oh.
Yes. So...
occultic.
At the time, I didn't know.
Okay.
I obviously knew afterwards. But all I knew that what he's preaching, he's prophesying, and... You know, there were pictures of him with thousands of members that he was preaching to, you know. So that's what made me to put my gut down.
After a year now?
No, what made me to talk to him with my gut down was because he was a prophet. Yeah, he's a prophet. Sometimes we talk about the word. We don't even talk about sex. We don't talk about any of that. We talk about the word, you know, and he seems very intellectual. However, later on, you know, you will see them by the fruits. Later on, I would pick up some of the things, maybe temper, you know, that, okay, he's been nice, he's very sweet. He was very sweet in the beginning. But all of a sudden, it's like he's controlling. You know, the narcissistic vibes where... I come from work, I'm doing a night shift. I get home, I'm very exhausted. Just one day of trying to explain that today can I just rest? Person.
Well, you like how?
That temper, like, no, I want to talk to you now. Am I not important? You know, stuff like stuff like that.
Inconsiderate,
So I could pick up few things here and there that there's something about him that is a bit off. I don't know what. Okay, fine. He was honest about the fact that he drinks. And I over the phone, I didn't want to ask questions concerning that. I felt like the day we meet, I would ask questions because I didn't want to come across as a judgmental Christian. Yes, because there's a perception also that who prophet is about controlling or you understand. So I didn't want to come across as that because I'm not. So I just let him be. Okay, it had been now a year later. Then I had tried to date, you know, the pastor friend.
Yeah, the one who your husband said, I see you.
Yes.
He came back.
He came back. It had been now a long time.
A year and a half.
Yeah, over that now. Over 2 years now. Since the marriage had dissolved. Yeah. So now we were starting to talk. And I'm realizing that, okay, with this distance prophet, I don't really know him. So I might as well let him go because I'm starting to pick up a few things that I don't really like. Why not give my friend a chance? I know him now. You understand? He's somebody that I know, and I know he's a man of integrity. Yeah. I know he's genuine. So we agreed. 2-3 months down the line, he broke the relationship. And reason being, I had opened a door without really knowing that I'm opening a door. I believe I opened a door that made him to change his mind, in a way. I don't know if I make sense. Yeah. They didn't know about it, but when you started comparing the person, asking around, okay, he's full-time in ministry, what do you think?
Yeah.
The enemy maximizes on these things. So even our conversation starts going towards a certain direction, and then he, being a person who's very analytical, he would pick up some of the things I say. And
your questions.
Even the things I say. So I think that's what brought him to the decision of marrying the other lady. Yeah, he then married, and I respect his marriage and I respect his wife. Yes, so he went ahead and went to marry someone else. In that moment, the enemy maximized on that because I made myself a victim. You understand? I said, how can a genuine pastor do this? They are all the same.
Yeah.
And I cried and I made myself a victim, blah, 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 blah. And who comes to mind? That one.
The one who you know is wrong.
The one I know.
You picked up things.
I picked up things.
Okay,
but I'm
I get it.
I'm like, what's one?
So
if the ones that are straight,
a dodgy man then.
Yeah, I can just go and do this, hurt me. I get it now. At that time, I'm a victim. I'm seeing myself as a victim.
The danger of victim.
Victimizing yourself. Oh no, he did this to me. He did this.
You must heal quick because
there's
a lot going on.
And we must own up to our mistakes as well.
Yes.
If I know that, okay, the relationship started going left because I also wanted, I started saying one, two, three. We need to own up to that as well and stop blaming each other, So the enemy maximized on that and brought back that one. And he came back full force. He's like, I want to see you. We have to meet. It's been a long time. It's been over a year. We need to meet. And I said, okay, let it be. I went and met him. When we meet, we meet at the hotel, at the guest house.
At the lounge?
Sorry?
At the lounge?
At a guest house.
I wanted to understand the setting. There is the restaurant aspect of things.
No, he booked.
Oh, okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
He booked for us to meet because he felt like gonna need more time to catch up and talk and everything. So why not spend enough time together? So he booked. I didn't ask questions about, but you have a house in Sandton. Why not go to your house?
Yeah.
Because he had before mentioned that, you know what, I have daughters, so I don't want to introduce them yet to anybody. So I didn't question why the guest house. That's why I didn't question why the guest house. But we went to a guest house. I got there first because he gave me the address and everything. Then he came after. When he comes, he's exactly how I want my man. And the reason I mention this is because I want ladies watching this to know that be careful what you say we want.
Because they'll come
the
catered.
The enemy is listening.
All these things of the criteria, the things that you are saying, you are creating.
You are creating this, and he will bring
manipulator.
Exactly the one that will imitate exactly that. That I want a man who hugs me and not let go, for a whole hour, he must just hug and hold on tight to me, stuff like that. A man who...
And you are reacting, and some people, they just react to these things on online. They just react to something that was done on another lady. It's nice, but then he's figuring you out.
Yes.
Through those things. Yes. He's figuring out your emotions, the things you like.
He's checking everything out.
So be careful what
does she like? How does she like to be talked to? How does she like to be looked at? This guy was exactly that. It felt like a dream when I saw him. Like, sure. He was all over me with excitement. And I'm like, God, I love this. Because I love love. Naturally, I'm a person who love love. And I give it. So to get somebody who
understands exactly that.
Yes, it felt like a dream. And I was excited. But immediately after meeting, like 10 minutes into it, one guy pulls out izolo. What do they call it? Joint?
Joint, yeah. We don't want to call it.
Pulls out a joint. And I just froze. I'm like, God, what's happening?
Yeah, alcohol was one thing. But now Zol is like, no.
It's like, what's going on?
And because alcohol, you might justify by saying, no, I just take a cup. But now, Zol.
Now, Kizolo.
No, there's no.
I'm like, I was shook. But then, me being me, I'm a person, I don't like to make people uncomfortable or feel uncomfortable. You understand? So I'm like, I just met this guy. Let him be, get to know him, and then I will hold questions after to try and understand if he's a prophet, if he preaches, why does he do this? Because I didn't want to come across as judgmental again. And I didn't want to be a party pooper at that moment. Okay?
Remember nothing, man.
A whole prophetess, I didn't want to be a party pooper at that time. So I'm like, I know, let me just let him be. He didn't just smoke, he gave it to me. So when he gives it to me, I'm like, no, I don't smoke. He's like, no, man. To make him feel.
Can't do, you're compromising.
I'm compromising.
That's how it comes.
I smoked one puff and I gave it back. I'm like, at least
that's it.
At least
and that's all he needs. That's all it takes.
That's all he needed. So I took that one puff and I gave him back. And he did his thing. Making jokes, cracking jokes. I'm just laughing the whole time. Went back in, one thing led to the another. We spent the night together. Can I say this? I'm going to say something. That was the best sex ever.
Yeah.
The best I've ever. No offense to my ex.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with
But there's
that.
a reason why I'm mentioning this. Some women, or even men, you get trapped in the whole sexual act because of how good it was. Not knowing that it was the best that's supposed to take out the best from you. Do I make sense?
Yeah.
So that
it's the best for a reason.
It's the best for a reason because I have to keep coming back to that. And I didn't know.
It was
your
the best offering is your best.
It's the best that took out the best from me.
Let ear that has an ear here.
Yes, let that one who has an ear hear. Because I know that people watching and you wonder why you keep going back to that very same guy, knowing that there's something off about him, knowing that you're not supposed to be with him. You're not supposed to sleep with him, but you keep going back because you're like, but the sex is good. It's supposed to be good because it has all evil in it. Do you understand? So we did that, and I woke up, and me being a dreamer, the first thing I wanted to do was, okay, did I dream about anything? There was nothing.
Yeah.
There was nothing. So that made me think, oh, he's good.
Oh.
He's okay. There's nothing alarming. I even said to him that, no, you Gucci. You sharp. You sharp. Guess what? I bathed alone. He didn't bath with me. Ne? I don't. Yes.
Yeah, when you're not aware.
I'm not aware that he said to me he's going to bath. The shower, whatever was on, but I don't have proof that did he bath. I don't have it. Do you understand? So I left. Guess what? The same night. I guess that night we spent it together. I woke up, no dream.
He has to go and do something because
he
now
had to go and let you understand.
Yeah, no. Ooh.
He had to go and do whatever that he needed to do. Kopile. That same night, I slept. I saw myself on a high up place. Ne? I was high up. Couldn't even look down. It was high up, but it was stairs. I saw myself try to step on the next one, and I slipped, and I fell. Let me say this. The fall was tangible. Even in my sleep, when you are in a lift, in an elevator, that I felt the fall.
The G-force. You can feel the G-force.
In my sleep, I felt that fall. Even when I hit the ground, it was as if something just poof, hit me here on my belly. And immediately in that very same dream, I get it's a dream.
Yeah.
In that very same dream, when I hit the floor, guess what happened? I was in a different world altogether.
That's his now.
There were snakes everywhere.
So the elevation, the stairs, it's how high you had gone.
I was high up there.
But now
I fell. When I fell, I felt it. And suddenly there's this snake, a red snake, trying to bite me. I'm jumping all these other ones. I'm trying to run away.
The small ones, but this is...
There are holes everywhere. A run-down place, or where there's been an earthquake. It looked like that. The place was where I was. It looked so terrible.
Filled with snakes.
It's filled with snakes everywhere. This red one was chasing me the whole night. That dream, it took such a long time. I don't know.
It's a longer dream.
It was the longest dream of my life. And guess what? When I woke up, I could feel something was taken away from me to start with. Like, when you just I felt down and I felt like something had just been taken away from me. I couldn't make up what was it at the time, but I felt different. And guess what? Every little thing went left in my life from that day. My car broke down immediately. I couldn't fix it. Some things like, it was hectic. Before that fall...
Your health was okay?
No, it was not okay. I had a cough. For 4 days, I'm hardly sick. I don't easily get sick, but suddenly I have this terrible cough immediately. And when I say immediately, I mean immediately.
Like the next day immediately.
The next day.
Yeah, Uncle Lady answers. If God answers quickly, the devil also delivers quickly.
Yeah. So let me mention this. There was before the fall, my dream pattern, because there's a point there, there's a period yearly where I can tell I'm operating in a different...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know exactly.
You know exactly?
Yeah.
There's a pattern that...
When the pattern, like I used to have a certain type of a dream in this period.
Yearly.
And then all of a sudden there's a switch. It feels like this is not part of that pattern. Yeah. The season that I'm supposed to be in I am not.
Yes.
No, I get you.
So yearly I know around this specific month.
This is
what happens. So shortly before the fall, I would dream of somebody giving me a key, saying go and open any door you want. I would see like clouds full white. And then things would be coming down and I would be looking for a key. And say, no, I just want the key. It was around that time. And during that time, I also had a dream where I was signing a contract at SABC for radio. For radio, because, the specific guy who was making me sign is a person I know personally. And who has told people that I love her work. She's very good in what she does. I love her work. That's why I tried to open. I
know that thing.
Yeah. So guess what happened? Later, after about a month, then I saw myself being kidnapped, put in the room. And they were saying to me, we've been looking for you. We have been looking for you. Stay here. I tried to fight. Tried to fight.
Like the vision of the child, coming out with the child.
Yes. Then the lady comes, this other lady comes and pulls out, it's like their boss. You know that scene where someone is hijacked, is kidnapped in the maybe movies? It was like that. It felt so real. So she pulls out a gun and say, you move one more time or you make noise one more time, I'm going to shoot her. When she says her, I look on my side, I realize it's my daughter. So that made me realize that when we do things, whatever we do as parents, it affects the kids. At that moment, it means anything could have happened to my child. Maybe if they could have shot her in the dream, naturally, I was going to wake up with a sick... with a sick child. The next thing, 1, 2, 3, the child is gone. So whatever we do as parents, especially the children of God, it affects the kids. You understand? So I realized that whole act didn't only affect me alone. It also affected my child as well. So they kept...
And it came via a prophet. It failed through Satanists. It failed through the Ngoma.
It came through a prophet.
It came through a so-called...
A prophet. And it's so sad because even I didn't block him. I see even some people close to me, they call him prophet. They address him as prophet. Not knowing that he's occultic, So I was kidnapped like that. Anything that I tried in the natural, it didn't work. Wherever I knocked, it didn't work. I even started I'm a preacher and I'm a traveling minister. All those stopped. Pastors that I know, these ones, they always invite me. They didn't invite me. Everything stopped. It was like, really, even in the natural, it's like I don't exist. No friends calling to say, hey, what? Everything is a mess. That's what happened. Until I prayed and fasted And I said, I remember crying for mercy to God. And I said, God, cast me not from your presence. You can do anything. You can punish me anyhow. But cast me not from your presence. And I wept. I wept. I cried for mercy. The whole fasting was just about that. It was just, God, please, cast me not from your presence.
Stop my hand.
Yeah. So fast forward, during that time, I'm also desperate. I'm like, maybe go back to radio, or what must I do now? Because everything is a mess. My car broke down. I don't have money. I'm broke. Everything is a mess. So I then, because I was in prayer, this other prophet sent me a message and say, a huge door has been opened before you. Whatever step you take towards the wrong direction, it will be a place of no return. Ne? So that made me to seek God more and say, okay, God, I just want to seek you. In the dream, I saw myself going towards the radio that I used to work at. When I approached, a voice said, turn around. Make sure those people don't see you. Run. I ran. I found myself in a church. At that church, there was a pastor preaching, and he was busy. There were fruits everywhere on the table.
In the dream?
In the dream. So I took those fruits, and I was busy eating. But he was teaching the word. But something about the eating was not alarming. It was as if this is what I need. You understand?
To sit down.
Yes. So when I woke up, I started declaring that it's going to happen. Before I know it, my pastor, because my church was far. I was in Kagiso, I was in the west. So to travel to church every Sunday also was
too much.
Was a challenge. Sometimes I would miss certain services. So my pastor just called. It had been now a year since the incident, but I was still bound. I remember they had captured me. So I spoke to, she just called me the wife, Amuruti, and said, no, come. We have this celebration service, just come. Come, that come for me, I heard it differently. I packed my bag and I went to church. I said, God, I know this is where you want me to be because of that dream. I don't care about where I'm going to stay. I don't care where I'm going to sleep. I don't care what I'm going to eat. I know you're going to provide. I'm going there. I went there. After the service, they say, are you here? Yeah, I'm like, I'm here with my bag. They called someone to come bring a mattress and a pillow. And guess what? I stayed at church. That's how desperate I was to be restored. I'm not saying that's the way, obviously, to get your restoration.
It's just that that was your journey, yes.
That was me.
But it's easy to decide something that's wrong, but it's hard to be restored. So when you think of the restoration process, watch yourself not to just fall for anything.
Yeah. So I went, I stayed at church, and the word of God that was being preached is what restored me. Because there was one time where the prophet was preaching about taking back your scepter, and then I personalized the message, and I'm like, I'm taking my scepter back from wherever, meaning in my understanding, my star back, my power back, my coat of glory, I'm taking it back from wherever it is. So it's preachings like that. Every time when I go home, when I stayed at church. So after service, I would declare that I'm taking what's mine by force. God will restore me. So that's how I got my coat of glory back. And even when it came, the way it came with a confirmation of a dream, where I see myself lying outside with stars everywhere around me. But they were very close. I'm lying on the grass. The man here, I don't see his face. He says to me, you see, they're moving. It's in the morning. As they move, say what you want. As they move, say what you want. When I looked on the right side, I saw the shadows of these birds, huge, but just shadows, as they were going up, like flying like this with wings. And then he said to me, I don't see him, whoever's talking to me. He said to me, those were angels, they were here with you. It is well. Ne? And as the stars were moving, I was busy praying, and I woke up. Upon waking up, I realized that my star is back. My light has come, because he said it's in the morning. I said, my morning has come. And I was filled with joy.
Like the verse says.
Yes, I was filled with joy. But guess what? Even in the natural, things started happening. Yeah, you could see that these things were bound. Like I was literally in held hostage, Mos.
Eh.
Yeah. When I start speaking at church, suddenly someone is like, wow, that was powerful. In my mind, I'm like, I've always been.
Never saw utlwi.
Why? Because the coat of glory was taken through the deed. So now I've been fully restored in terms of my gift, and it has been, I've just recently celebrated 2 years celibate. And now I'm doing it with an understanding that is to seek God, is for God. It's not about me. The Bible says he leads us in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. It's not about us, it's about him. So I think...
when we have victories, it brings his name back into check. It doesn't say Katleho, it says
yes,
God is.
Yes. So I live by the scripture, 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, that be an example to believers in speech, meaning the way I speak to people, to whoever, to strangers, the way I speak, in speech, in conduct, and how we carry ourselves. People has to see that there's a God in us. And also at the end there, it says in purity. So I realized that before I had been pruned in all these other ones, humility and everything, respecting and whatever. But now the purity part, God knew that. At one point I wanted to cry about the situation, why it had to happen. But then I thank God that all things work together for good for those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And I realized that it had to happen so that now when I talk about or preach about purity,
you have a ground.
I have an understanding. It's not from a point of condemning anybody. It's not from a point of being judgmental. It's to say, can we wake up? Because the enemy is maximizing
on those weaknesses.
On this weakness, right? And it's not the only one. There's others. But I realized that ministry-wise, I'm being shifted to preaching about purity. I had to experience that. Had I not experienced it in that sense, I probably would have continued maybe 2 years celibate, fall again, celebrate again, sleep with someone again, and I wonder why my life is just
in the
same circle. Because when I look back from that guy that the voice said, look at him closely, I realized that I had been dating the same spirit in different bodies. The same spirit. When I look at the characteristics, there are these people we would call narcissistic, but there's a spirit behind. You understand? With those characteristics, the person is laughing in the beginning, but once they get what they want, they start acting up. And the thing is, I realized that guy did something, because he tried to come back a year later. I realized, and during the time where it's my open heaven time, that where my dream...
Your season thingy.
My cycle of breakthrough. He tried to come back. And when he realized that this one, it was just a one-time thing, really, she's not budging. He started swearing at me. A whole prophet. So my plea to the church is that, can we wake up? The enemy is stealing. You remember the story about the 2 harlots? Yeah. When the other one was sleeping, the other woman came and stole the other one's baby. And this one, and gave the dead baby to this one. So this one was busy nursing what? A dead baby. That's what the enemy is doing. Stealing while we sleep to give us a dead baby. You go to church, but nothing is happening to you. No spiritual growth, no nothing. You're busy nursing a dead baby.
When we're excited about a verse, we're now you're like, why? But you know very well. You're opening all these doors. The things that are exciting you, you keep entertaining the wrong. It's because these doors that
we have to live right. My plea to the church is that, can we live right? Can we strive for that? Can we do whatever it takes to fight to live right? Because that's where our power is. That's what, if you want to defeat the enemy, because we see he's raising his own army.
They are everywhere.
He's raising his own. If you want to conquer, if you also want to rise, we need to live right according to the word. Let's live right.
Thank God. Bazalan, they say he that has an ear. Is there a place where you mostly preach, online or?
I am on social media. I had been off because I did go through a period of isolation as well. But I am on Facebook as Katleho Mafulago. I am on Instagram as...
It being the pin comment. The name will be on the pin comment.
Okay. Yeah, I am also on Instagram as Katleho_Lady K. Yeah. TikTok as well, Katleho M. Chosen.
Thank God. So, Bazalwan, be careful what doors you open. And when you see a tendency of the enemy to bring the same type of people and whatnot, it might be a bait to catch you off guard. But sometimes when people are busy offering you things, they giving you this, you're giving you because you have your guard down, and then you're like, you know what, let me just, no. It's better to say no than so that they do not present you with that temptation ever again.
Yes.
And never become a temptation to you. It helps doing that. We were speaking about that when we, if you watch the video that we talked about Caspar Nyovest when he was with that drip CEO. That's exactly what I was saying. That the CEO was not laughing at the jokes that Caspar was saying because there is a certain way he takes himself seriously. He doesn't, once he entertains that joke, that becomes the conversation that they have. Once you entertain that joke of, hey, you know your friends, you know some of you have those friends that when you are working together, they keep looking back. You know that action. They keep looking back. So you and them get used to this behavior of reacting to what woman looks like. Oh yeah, that one is a nice curve. This one. So they get used to having those conversations. They are able to bring all kinds of temptations to you. Send you certain type of pictures, certain type of thinking. They're increasing your desires for things that you might have not had in your vision because you have opened that door. The thing is, so be vigilant. Your enemy doesn't rest. He might come in the form of a friend. Like I said when we were talking about Pastor Paul Eneche. If you watch that video, I was very, very firm about that thing. There must be a moment of get thee behind me, Satan. Even with your friends, you must have a get thee behind me, Satan period where Jesus has to tell Peter, right now you're not thinking Christian-like. So that thinking, please put it aside. We don't entertain that here. It will help you doing that.
It will.
At least you accept that weed, that prophet. You need deliverance. Tricky. And I'm very happy. Thank you very much for the time and the testimony. It's quite interesting. And I'll see you on a later on. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you for having me.
Thankos.